Shihai-sha here, and I have something a little different for you today. I have here my Titan build for PvP, Trials of Osiris, and everything else in Season of the Worthy. This build features the Hard Light, the Dune Marchers, and the Powerful Friends, Taking Charge, and High Energy Fire, Charged with Light mods. So you might be thinking, how does this build work? So it uses Code of the Missile, or the Middle Tree Striker path. Now this path, you may be wondering, why use this one instead of Bottom Tree? Well, for Bottom Tree, it uses a roaming super, meaning that the super has a timer and you can use it multiple times. In Trials of Osiris, that is not a good idea. You want something you can use one and done and know you can get a good kill. This is where Code of the Missile comes in. There is no other non-roaming super for Titan with exclusion of the bubble, but since that's more of a defensive thing than an offensive thing, that's not necessarily going to count. This build features Thunder Crash. Basically, you soar through the air and crash down, inflicting meteoric damage. Ballistic Slam, it's a mini version of Thunder Crash, and you damage nearby enemies by slamming into the ground. Impact Conversion, hitting enemies with Ballistic Slam grants super energy and activates Inertia Override. And Inertia Override, picking up ammo during a slide reloads your equipped weapon and increases weapon damage for a short time. I will be pairing this with the Pulse Grenade, the Strafe Lift, and the Towering Barricade. Now, I'm going to always be using Towering Barricade and Strafe Lift no matter what. But Pulse Grenades are the best part of this, or some of the best of this build. It allows you to nullify other people's abilities. For example, if you throw a Pulse Grenade in the middle of a Warlock Rift, they can no longer use that rift because they will die. If it's a healing rift, it gets counter nullified, but if it's an empowering rift, they kind of have to leave. Same thing with the Titan barrier. Hunter dodges, you can use a Pulse Grenade in the place where they're going to dodge, so that they can kind of set themselves up for failure. But Pulse Grenades still some of the best grenades in Destiny 2. If you want to, you can use lightning grenades, but I prefer pulse grenades. As for the weapons, I'm going to be using Revoker, Hardlight, and Wendigo. If you can't beat them, join them. For the heavy weapon, you can actually use whatever you're comfortable with, but I'm using Wendigo because it synergizes with this build and has a blinding effect. Revoker, it's a sniper rifle that's the Season 7 pinnacle weapon. It comes with extended barrel, accurized rounds, snapshot sights, and a special perk called Reversal of Fortune. Basically, it allows you to miss a shot and get the bullet back. Great for people like me who may not be the best at sniping. And the Hard Light, you may have seen this around a whole lot in Crucible. Again, if you can't beat them, join them. I'm not going to give up my tirade towards Mindbenders because Mindbenders actually requires no skill. This actually does require a significant amount of auto rifle skill. This intrinsic perk entitled Volatile Light, rounds fired from this weapon have no damage fall off, over-penetrate targets, and ricochet off hard surfaces. Projectile damage increases after bounce. Basically, it allows you to own choke points. Open areas you can still use because it has no damage fall off. Basically, it's the all-around amazing weapon. Now, for Wendigo, the reason I'm using this one in particular, you can use whatever you want, but I'm using this one. One, because of its blinding grenades, and two, because of its exclusive perk called Explosive Light. Picking up an orb of light increases the next grenade's blast radius and damage. Basically, what this allows us to do is to pick up an orb of light and have the weapon be even more powerful. Now, how does it synergize, you might ask? Well, I'm using 3 mods introduced in Season of Dawn entitled Charges of Light. I will be using Taking Charge, High Energy Fire, and Powerful Friends. Taking Charge makes it so that you become charged with light by picking up orbs of light. High Energy Fire makes it so that you gain a bonus to weapon damage while charged with light. And Powerful Friends allows it to become so that nearby allies also become charged with light if they aren't already. Now, another thing with Powerful Friends is that if you saw another arc mod into this, you add 20 plus mobility to your stats. Speaking of stats, you will want to prioritize mobility and strength. These two things will allow us to make the most out of this build. Now you may be wondering, why am I not using Thunder Coil? It was introduced in Season 8 and Season 10. Well, I have yet to unlock Thunder Coil. I will equip it as soon as I have the ability to. Now, as for other mods, I'm using Precision Weapon Targeting, which allows me to improve the aim on my weapons, like Revoker. Enhanced Auto Rifle Loader, which allows me to reload my hard light faster. Enhanced Unflinching Auto Rifle Aim, which will reduce flinch while I'm aiming down sights on my hard light. Surge Detonators, which will allow my grenades to delay ability regeneration just in case they happen to survive it. Another thing I'm using is a recovery mod to increase recovery. That's another thing you should probably prioritize. I'm using traction and rifle dexterity, which improves speed even more and allows me to equip and stow weapons faster. Speaking of my leg armor, I'm going to be using the Dune Marcher's Exotic, because its perk, Linear Actuators, which increases sprint speed and chains melee damage to other enemies, was buffed recently, increasing the radius of the chain from 12 meters to 20 meters. This makes it far more viable in PvP circumstances. Last but not least, I'm planning to use Thunder Coil along with Remote Connection, which gains bonus super energy on sniper rifle kills. This will make it so that, well, I grow even more powerful and grow super energy from pretty much all places. Sniper rifle kills, ballistic slam, all that stuff. And in conclusion, this build will allow us to own choke points and open areas, forgive our missed snipes, make orbs of light far more valuable than they are already, and chain that power to other allies. This is what I call the slam dunk, and it's the build I will use to rule the game in Season of the Worthy. And until the next video, I bid you adieu. And as always, rule the game.
As one. I love it.